Before I share my story, right, I got 3 to 4 minutes. But before I share, I just want to give another hand of applause for our two previous speakers, man. They're great people. They had a great powerful story. So, with that being said, hi everyone. My name is Adrian. I'm from Victory Ari Santana. I'm 39-year-old. So I try not to get tongue twisted, right? So, a little bit about myself, right? Similar to Ernesto's story, I grew up in West Los Angeles. I started hanging around with gangs by the age I was 12. I was brought up and I was raised in a dysfunctional family where I got to witness my parents getting high, domestic violence, to the point that eventually, when I was about 6 years old, my father walked out on us, right? So that led me to a life of seeking validation, seeking love. So what did I do next, right? I ended up looking for that validation, looking for that love in the streets. So I ended up joining the neighborhood when I was 12, and that led me to juvenile halls, the foster care, the county jail, prison, and solitary confinement. And that became a revolving door that I couldn't break. I was always in and out, in and out. And every time I was getting released from prison, I would joke around and I would tell my peers, man, I'm going on vacation, because I knew it was just a matter of time before I was gonna come back home, right? And my last term, right? My last term, I was incarcerated, and I remember I was in Pleasant Valley Sea Yard, and I remember it was during the COVID-19. And I remember I went down, the paramedics came in. I can't give you guys a full story, obviously, because of time. But I remember I went down, and if you've done time in prison, you don't want to go man down. That's like a sign of weakness. It's really frowned upon. So I didn't want to go man down. I go to Central Health. The paramedics come in, and they basically tell the nurses, hey, this guy has less than 2 hours to live. And I remember thinking, man, I didn't die in the streets. I didn't die in my addiction. I didn't die in the neighborhood. And here I am about to go out to COVID. And I remember for the first time, man, I closed my eyes and I just remember, man, asking God, I never asked you for anything, but if I pull through, man, I'll give you my word. I'll start bringing people to you, right? And by the grace of God, they found a spot. I ended up going to this private hospital, and I was there for like about a month. When I returned to the prison, one of the nurses tell me, hey, Adrian, man, we can't believe your story. You were the worst case, because at that time I had pneumonia, tuberculosis, and asthma. But when she said that they will study my case every morning, I knew exactly that it was God. It was God's power working in my life. And I remember I came back, I got released, but getting out in the time during the pandemic, it was very depressing. So what happened? I ended up catching a DUI, but that was the leading point for me to actually sit there and reflect on my life. Where am I going with my life? And I remember I had a conversation with God, and I got in prayer, and I asked God, I love you, but how can I give you my life, and how can I serve you if I'm gonna betray my own neighborhood? Because the minute that I give my life to you, my life is yours. So if I can't be loyal to my own neighborhood, what makes you think that I'm gonna be loyal to you? And then I heard a sermon, which is 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11, right? Which a lot of us, especially males, we pride ourselves as men, which is when you act like a man, you think like a man, you behave like a man. And I realized that when I joined the neighborhood, I was a little kid. I was a 12-year-old little kid seeking love and validation. But today, I'm no longer that little kid. Today, I'm a grown man. So that was the verse that allowed me to break these chains that had me captivated. And today, I'm a straight A PhD student at UC Irvine. I graduated from UC Berkeley with high honors, and basically, I got into Harvard, but I ended up coming to SoCal because I know that academia, everything that has to do with academia is already embedded in me. But what wasn't embedded in me is learning how to be a father, learning how to connect with my daughter, learning how to connect with God, learning how to build a relationship with God on a deeper level, right? So today I'm a PhD student. Recently I became the head security at our ministry at Victory Outreach Santana. I also started Victory Outreach Bible College. But with that being said, don't get it messed up. It's not me. It's all God's work. He's working through me and in me so that I can continue to grow and be that example. With that being said, thank you guys, and don't forget, man, God loves you.